over the course of 162, and you know this better than anyone, Tricia, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, right? You want the sum of the parts in October. For the Rays, I feel like we're getting there with Wander and Manny and even Tyler Glass now. Give us an update.
Absolutely. That's exactly, I think, how the clubhouse feels right now, is that they're vibing at the right time.
Yeah.
It's all about getting hot at the right time, and you're right, it hasn't been all rainbows and butterflies for the Rays. They've gone through some lulls offensively due to a lot of injuries, but here's the good news, Lauren, is that there's going to be a lot of guys coming back at the right time. Harold Ramirez returned yesterday. Wander Franco was DHing in Durham yesterday. Hopefully he'll play shortstop today. Look at that. Yeah, we talked about this last time I was on the show, and I gave you guys full permission to feel sorry for the Rays due to all of their injuries. But the guys coming back on that list can make a huge, huge difference. Wander Franco, hopefully they get him back by the end of the week. Tyler Glass now is supposed to face live hitters for the first time on Saturday. He did throw a bullpen yesterday. He said he felt good, and that he'll make kind of a game time decision after he faces live hitters. Wander Franco, hopefully, like I said, playing shortstop in Durham today. Manuel Margot, another big hitter for the Rays, hopefully back by the end of the week. Like I said, Harold Ramirez returned yesterday, and man, if they can get Glass now back, because their pitching has already been stellar this season, to add Glass now back into that rotation would be an immense boost for the Rays. Of course, we don't know yet if that's going to happen, but as the Rays pitching coach Kyle Snyder so famously put it, there's not a 0% chance.
Okay, we'll take it.
We will take it. We will take it. Glass now is incredible to watch on the mound, so if they can get him back, that's a scary starting rotation.
And an awesome personality, right? Absolutely. The Rays create this culture that everyone's equally important, even though, right, dependent on the numbers, it doesn't really matter. And you mentioned the pitching. There's a different guy on the mound every day. We just saw Jason Adam, and D-Row goes, who the heck is this guy? How do they do it?
That's a common theme with the Rays, right? People are like, who the heck is this person? But that's kind of how they operate, right? They find diamonds in the rough, and they find guys who maybe other teams weren't as high on. And the Rays pitching this season has absolutely carried this team. There's no other argument to it, right? We talked about the offense going through lulls. Some key hitters were on some bad slumps, but mostly it's been injuries to some of their absolute best hitters. And I thought Rays reliever Ryan Thompson put it best. Yeah, look at those numbers, Lauren. Those numbers do not lie for this Rays pitching staff. And like I said, Rays reliever Ryan Thompson yesterday said, listen, we had a lot of key people go down who were team leaders, but everyone has stepped up, but probably no one more than this pitching staff, right? You got Drew Rasmussen, you got Jeffrey Springs, and you got Shane McClanahan, who we know is their ace. But when you look at how this team has been able to stay afloat amidst the injuries to some of their hitters, it's their pitching staff that kept them there.
And Thompson said, we're just scratching the surface.
And that's scary.
How can that be, right? Did Randy get new cowboy boots? Because he has got his story, Tricia. I learned it when Juan Toribio wrote the story in The Athletic about his journey, about his dad eating a plate of seafood, watching his game, had an intense allergic reaction, and past him defecting in a glorified raft. Tell us all about him, because he's an interesting story.
Well, first of all, Randy Arozarena is so good for the game. I truly believe that. He loves interacting with fans. If you see him out there in the outfield, he's always talking to fans in the stands, right? He just loves the game, and they call him October Randy for a reason, and he is starting to heat up right now. He's swinging a hot bat. 4 home runs in the last 6 games. Last night, he had that 3-run bomb off of Nestor Cortez. He's driven in 10 runs during this last week of a stretch. And like you mentioned, those cowboy boots, Lauren, he might be whipping those out pretty soon, because Arozarena is famous for being October Randy. And every October, he walks out to BP with those cowboy boots on, and he puts on a show. He never disappoints in October. So the reigning rookie of the year, the last 10 games, has been phenomenal for the Rays. And he's going to be a huge piece to this lineup moving forward if they do continue to stay hot at the right time. If he can stay hot at the plate, they get those other guys back that we just mentioned. That's also a scary lineup. Combined with that scary starting rotation, it's going to be fun.
They're so much fun. The boots. Harold's blue hair. Who is tasting his hair?
Jose Siri, the one and only Jose Siri. Lord, I'm sitting next to the dugout last night, and I look over, and I'm like, what is happening? And Siri looks over at me. He goes, candy, cotton candy. So he thinks Harold Ramirez's blue hair resembles cotton candy, and so he just decided to start pretending like he was eating.
You've been interviewing.
He is a big kid on the field, and he's a really great piece of energy that I think the Rays needed in that lineup. He's just got that big kid personality, and you'll love to see it.
You've been interviewing Siri for a couple weeks. Has this ever happened to you? Roll this.
What?
Jose Siri is going to be the hitter.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please say that?
Was that from the broadcast booth?
It was from the broadcast booth. Dwayne Stats and Doug Wechter were in the booth, and you know what? I heard that in my IFB, and I thought, did this go out over the air, or am I the only one hearing this? And then I logged onto Twitter, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that just happened." Apparently, it happens all the time to Jose Siri, and how could it not? Because you say Siri, and as we know, our iPhones are always listening.